So yesterday I had the chance to sit down and talk with some gentlemen, and the subject came up as to when it would be a good time to start a business or it's time to really get started on some things in life. They were quite young. In fact, I think most of the gentlemen had pretty much just turned 18. And while we're talking, I had this thought, like, what would I have said, or what would I say to my younger self right now in this moment? And what kind of impact would this moment have on myself? And so we're talking, and the idea of limiting yourself or having a limited belief system popped up. You know, I didn't coin the phrase or nothing, but I really began to understand something that's really, really important in your life. And that is to not box in your thinking. You know, you were blessed with an imagination, and your imagination can have you sitting in a closed-in room, but allow your mind to be as far away into another galaxy or into another place while sitting in this boxed-in room. And which means that the possibilities are endless. You know, the possibilities of life are endless simply because you've been able and been blessed with the ability to see infinitely. So, you know, we're talking a little further, and I said to the young man, I go, you know, so imagine that. Imagine a life where you take the brakes off. And what I meant by that was, look, you know, today you're in a situation, but take a different way, take a different approach, take a different look at where you are and what you're going through, what you're doing, right? And then, you know, then make an assessment. So we talked a little further and a little bit more. And, you know, we got to talk them into a mindset of, you know, yeah, you're more than what you're going through. You're more than what you're seeing right in front of you, because all that is limited. You're not limited to the space and opportunity. And one of the biggest arguments that they brought up was their inability to have capital to get started on a business. And I thought to my younger self, the only other thing that I would say to my younger self in this moment that would have the greatest amount of impact, and that was, I am more than confidently aware that one would need money in order to do business, in order to live life. You need money to do different things, right? More than aware that that is the situation, you know, because that's life, you know. But the other thing that I began to share with them was, you really don't need money to do anything in life. What you need is value. And, you know, what I'm talking about is, we live in an age of digital currency. And I think that a lot of people get stuck in their mindset of the old way, or the old traditional way of thinking. And so as a result, they're limiting themselves once again to the ability or the inability to raise capital to do something. But we live in an age of digital currency. And so as a result, I was sharing with them that you could get started on a project today in small bits and pieces, and tomorrow find yourself in a situation where you've sold part of that off, or you've done something. The whole thing is that they're afraid to get started because the situation doesn't seem to be perfect. The situation isn't the most conducive to what they believe is is what they should be doing, right? And so I finally told them this, and this is what I'm going to leave for you. I'm writing. Actually, this is a phrase, actually from my book that's coming out, but I thought I'd share it with you guys. Is this: progress over perfection. I'll say that again, guys. Progress over perfection. Because look, if you wait for a perfect moment or you wait for perfection, that may not ever come. And so you'll find yourself sitting and waiting. But if you progress towards perfection, now that, my friend, is something that you could do one imperfect step at a time. So look, that's simply put is you choose progress over perfection, because progress can always lead to perfection, where waiting for perfection will ultimately end in lack of progress. And what most people have a problem with when they're trying to achieve their goals and their success dreams is not a matter of perfection. It's a lack of progress. So look, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to achieve your, let's get out there and let's get started. Let's do something first. So look, love you. See you next time. This has just been another Evolve Your Life moment with Darnell. Take care.